how are we doing, everybody? Welcome to Russell Heritage Golf. Today we're going to be talking about the key move that should start the downswing. This is often an area that most amateur golfers get a little bit confused by as to what should trigger the movement. Now in today's video we're going to focus on a couple of core areas that you guys need to be replicating, but also going to finish it off with a really simple drill so that you don't even have to think about it. And all you can do by watching this video is understand the common problems, understand how to do it correctly, and then do the drill to ensure that you do it correctly. So let's talk about impact first, because obviously the downswing is a reflection of a sequence of events that is trying to lead to a repeatable impact position. So when we go in towards impact, from the setup position, the difference would be hips would be more open, chest would be more open, shoulders would be slightly more open. And what happens is when everything for a right-handed golfer starts to aim left, you can see the way that my shoulders obviously moving back. So that means that therefore my hands are going to work further forward. And this is a really good sign of a solid impact position, is where you're delivering the hands ahead of the club head at the point of impact. So the first point that we can use is at the point of impact. If you video your swing, you want to see your sternum on the ball and the hands slightly ahead of the ball. If we were then looking at the golf swing at a post-impact position, which means by the time we've hit the ball, if I carry this journey on a little bit, and you now draw a line vertically through my left ankle, you can see the way my hands, my shoulder and hip are all in line here as well. Now, just to clarify, a poor impact position would be like so or like so. And this is when the sequence of events is wrong. Why does this happen? Okay, so what is the big difference? We get set up to the golf ball, and if we're going to use in today's video some references to the hips, but I personally prefer to use the left shoulder at that post-impact position with people I work with, because I just feel like it's a slightly stronger visual. So when we swing up towards the top, the first movement is lower body led. What you can see that should happen is that we should pull the left hip back into the same position where the right hip is at the top of the backswing position. And what will happen from here is, as you continue to rotate your pelvis and turn, and your spine turns, your chest will start to rotate. And you can see the way by the time we pause the golf swing at left arm horizontal, which is at this point in time here, the shoulder has re-established its placement over that low point line. Now this is a big thing to get, because you've got to remember that the golf swing is all about loading in the backswing, reacting to that load in transition, and the hit is an extension. So you have to put a lot of emphasis of rotation in transition, but it's rotation and it's linear, because you have to re-establish these low point lines. And that's what I'm trying to demonstrate. So what happens with amateur golfers is when they swing up towards the top, they do generally one of two things. The first one is that instead of pulling the left hip back onto the same, should we say, tush line as the right, it goes forward. So the pelvis goes more horizontal, which essentially what this means is that the shoulder now can't go left and it starts to go backwards. And then as you come down, this is going to lead to an impact position something like so, because the left shoulder is behind that ankle line. We move back to here, that's how we look like so. We drop the shoulder, that's why we're going to look like so. The other problem that we tend to see is a spinning out motion, which means that the right hip fires forward, or the trail hip fires forward, saturates all the space for the elbow, and then as you come in towards that hitting area, again you tend to end up looking something like this. So the reality of it, and this has obviously been very much biomechanically proven, is that the sequence of events is lower body, chest, etc., coming in towards that hit, hands and arms. But the thing is, it's happening so quickly that you don't want to be thinking about it in this sort of manner. I just want you guys to resonate and go, oh, if you always look flippy, instead of just trying to drive your hands forward like I tend to meet most amateurs do, that won't work. The reason why you're flippy is because of the orientation of your body, which means you're either early hip extending or spinning out, which was defined in the two scenarios previously. So the question would then be, in the best case scenario, how do you fix this without thinking about it? I would suggest that you do first and foremost is to test this out at home. So all you need is a little bit of carpet or an artificial bit of turf, or if you're fortunate enough where you can practice off grass, perfect. What you're going to do is you're going to paint 2 lines on either the ground or on your carpet area. And the idea, once you've painted the 2 lines, they are going to be separated about a club head's distance apart. And the idea with this exercise is that you are always going to set up to the first line, so the one to the right of you, the one most centrally positioned, and your intention is to make sure that you hit the second line. Seems simple. It catches most people out that I actually end up working with. The reason why is that to be able to successfully hit the second line, and when I say hit, I genuinely mean hit, right? Not some sort of shallow, just about grazing it. You need to hit that second line. And this is kind of what's defined as hitting through the ball. Is that if you fall into the previous 2 scenarios, which means, shall we say, early hip extension or spinning out, there's no way that you're going to be able to successfully strike down on that second line because the club head is always going to be rising. So you might find that you attempt this drill and you're not very good at it to start off with. The answer, persevere and learn how to do it, because it will improve your sequencing without you having to think about it. Because like I said, your sternum or your shoulder need to re-establish the place where they left. And for you to be able to hit that line, you're going to have to start moving in a rotational manner to have any sort of success at hitting that line. Once you start to notice, as I say with people that I work with online, once you start to notice that you are hitting that line so frequently that you're having to repaint it, every kind of 2 to 3 swings, then that would be a sign that you've done the drill and you no longer need to do it and it's had its influence on your swing. So, if you are somebody who doesn't know how to start the downswing, the answer lies in the sequence. Like we said, you have to get the hip action correct. You have to trigger the correct rotational movement. But really the key move that starts the downswing, and I think a lot of you resonate with this, is not so much about what is the perfect sequence, it's about the key word of intent. The key move that starts the downswing is intent, and the intent should be to strike down. For you guys that are struggling with impact or a lack of certainty as to what you should do, you should hit that second line. Because whether that triggers a movement where you have an abundance of rotation and shaft lead, or whether that means that you move more linear and you have slightly less shaft lead, it's really going to be irrelevant because you're still achieving the task of getting into a good impact position. And it works really well. So, hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and hopefully it's resonated a lot with you, and you'll go away now and focus on that practice area and concentrate either at home or off the grass area on setting up those 2 lines and making sure that you strike the latter one, because I promise you that on its own will improve your ball striking based on concentration and intent and not getting too absorbed in swing thoughts and positions. You learn from positions, but we don't think about positions to improve our swing. We have to put suggestions in place to improve us. So, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Always appreciate a thumbs up, like. Remember, it's absolutely free to subscribe. If you're going to do so, press the little bell icon, because that means you receive notifications every time a new video comes out. Keyword is intent. Strike that second line. A little bit clean on that one. Need a little bit of work myself. Catch up with you guys again soon.